My life was in turmoil. I basically stayed in the street. I hadn't been in contact with my daughters for 13 years. I had never stopped drinking for over 7 days. The Oliver Gospel Mission, they just gave me the encouragement and, the Bible knowledge and just the strength to carry on. I grew up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I come from a broken home, absentee father, seen my mother for the last time in the 6th grade, so I basically grew up in foster homes and homes. From there, I joined the military, which I had a promising career, but because of alcohol, I lost my military career. I had been in about 14 years, and then I came to Columbia, South Carolina, where I further indulged in drugs and alcohol. One time, it was on New Year's, and I got extremely drunk, and I was staggering backwards. I couldn't go forward. And then, as I look back on it, it was God just telling me that I would never go forward as long as I continue to live the lifestyle that I lived.
When they first come in, there's a real emphasis given on work. And so we have the men doing a lot of work around the mission. And that's kind of a time for them to get their heads clean from their drug addictions, to sober up, and also for them and for us to determine if the program is the best thing for them.
Came in here, I was in the program from 2 November 2005 and November 2004 that's correct. In March of 2005, I started working on the front desk, volunteer working. In May, I was hired as a temporary employee.
Then they go into the real program, starting with the mind phase. And the focus of the mind phase is to help the men in the way they think, to get more of a God focus in their life, a more realistic focus about themselves and what their real issues are. So there's an emphasis on the mind.
I learned a lot about just the Bible in general because I'd never studied the Bible before, and I got 6 months of intensive training about the Bible, but I've also got training about my finances and how to maintain a job, how to fill out a resume. I also became computer literate since I've been at the Oliver Gospel Mission program.
The heart phase has to do with the character of the men, and that's where we get into the heart phase. We just help them to deal with character issues. And again, that's what makes us so unique. We're not just putting band-aids on things, but we're helping them to deal with their minds, with the way they think, their heart, their attitudes, and what kind of people they are. And then, as I mentioned to you earlier, the career phase really focuses on them getting a job and getting out there and living responsibly.
Right now, I'm a life coach. My job consists of teaching men who first come into the program, who are just basically raw and, just right off the street, and trying to just get them to a position where they can come in and receive, instruction and be able to apply it to their lives. I have now been clean for over 5 years, and, I'm about to get an associate degree. I'm supposed to maybe in a couple months be an ordained minister, and it's just showing me what God can do. I have 2 daughters that I hadn't seen in 13 years previously to coming into the Oliver Gospel Mission, and I can say through the blessings of God that my life has changed, and I do have a relationship with my daughters.
The biggest thing we give these guys is hope. And we don't want that hope merely to be based on temporary things, but to be based on something that goes beyond this life. And so we found that by giving the emphasis that we need to the spiritual, it helps them, and they have to address the deeper issues in their life.
I can just say that, through God and this place right here, it's been truly inspiring, and I just try to be a living testimony of what God can do. The Lord just brought me in a full circle.